Hello and welcome back to Tits, Tums and All Things Mum. I'm here with the lovely Lisa today.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm kind of here, but I have got a little bit of the sniffles, but don't all mums have the sniffles these days.
I know.
So please excuse me if you hear that in the background.
I feel like I haven't not had the sniffles for like a year now. It's ridiculous.
I think I've been probably three weeks this year, but summer's starting soon, so there's that to look forward to.
But the sun came out recently and now I'm ill,
Don't
so
say
it's
that.
like, oh,
Don't say that.
And you don't get the chance to rest and get better. So you
Not
just
at all.
end up in a constant state of lurgy.
You've got three children and a dog, and it's just and a business. So it's just go.
Yeah, I was going to say, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
You went in.
So I'm Lisa. I run a company called And Then She Clicked, which is a family photography company. So I shoot newborns, families outdoors in people's homes. I also teach other family photographers to do what I do. I've been doing that for about 12 years now. Absolutely love my job. I've just love everything Instagram and everything to do with families and the outdoors. So
love it. So today we were kind of chatting about what we're going to talk about today, but we were talking about the contradictions in motherhood because there are so many.
Yeah.
And just kind of the contradictions about, because you're a photographer, you try and capture the special moments, the early moments in parenthood. Because so often we are so desperately trying to cling on to kids growing up, but we're also desperately waiting and eagerly waiting for that next stage to come so that they're a bit more independent, so that they're off at school.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about those contradictions today,
definitely.
and your experiences.
Yeah.
with those.
So I mean, obviously as a photographer, I capture the what's happening right now with all of the parents and the children and all their personalities, but I see a lot of mums that are constantly just like, oh, I don't want it to change, I don't want this to happen, and I'm going to miss this the child like doing the little weird smile that they do, or twiddling my hair, or like pulling my sleeve, or they're always looking forward to the next thing, and it's like this complete chasm between wanting to stay in the present and and then also looking forward to the next stage as well. And it's just a constant divide and a constant fight in your brain of like, oh, I should be in the moment, I should be enjoying their cute little voices and cute this and cute that, and then at the same time going, oh, just go to bed, or just give me a second to myself. I'm just trying to like have a time to myself, and oh, I can't wait till they walk, or I can't wait till they do that, or I'm not going to do something until they've done this or they've done that, or I'm not going to have, in my instance, I'm not going to have the photos until they can walk, I'm not going to have photos until this happens. But I think we also put ourselves on pause a lot, trying to figure out whether to hold on to the past or whether to just wait for the future. And it's just, it's quite hard, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I heard a phrase that was like, motherhood is where you spend most of your time either in the future or in the past. Like you're never really in the present because you're looking forward to things changing and all of that, but you're also looking back at what they used to be like.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I was sat on the sofa with my daughter, we were having a cuddle, and I remembered that she used to fiddle with our ears as like a comfort.
That's quite common, isn't it? Yeah.
She hasn't done that in forever. But you never know when the last time of something is going to be.
No.
Like when she fiddled with my ear for the last time, I didn't know that was going to be the last time. And then it just goes.
Yeah.
And then, but you find yourself looking forward. But then when that's gone, you're like, oh, I wish she'd fiddle with my ear again.
It's funny, isn't it? I have a similar thing. So I've got three, as I said, but my middle child, Orson, he was quite a cuddly baby.
Yeah.
I held him quite a lot in the wraps and things, and he was breastfed the whole time, didn't take a bottle, was one of those really clingy, lovely babies, cuddly babies. And the other two were very independent babies. And he was always very cuddly until he was about 5, 6. And I'm not saying it was anything to do with COVID, but those 2 years that it kind of went through, he is now the least cuddliest kid ever. And I don't know if it was the part of his development where it happened and where he was going into school and wasn't allowed to touch and things like that. But he balks at cuddles now. He doesn't like being cuddled. He doesn't like even me cuddling him. He'll stand stiff and be like, oh, you have to cuddle me, you can cuddle me. And it's really sad. But then at the same time, I look at pictures of the before where he was all over me and he's cuddling me and he's like in my space. And I'm like, I'm so glad I took those pictures, and I'm so glad that I have that memory. And I'm just, like I say, dealing with where it is at the moment. I'm just giving him his space, respecting his decisions that he doesn't necessarily want lots of people in his face. And the family also, like extended family, like nans and granddads, they kind of know that at the end of a meeting they'll go, right, cuddle this one, cuddle that one. Oh, high five, Orson. But I think maybe in the future he might come around again. He might sort of soften, and he might decide, I do want to give mum a hug. But I'm trying to just accept it for what it is right now, and not try and mourn where it was, because it's become a bit of a thing now, I think. It's all those little things that parents hold on to that I think, I don't know, it's just something, don't mourn them too much. I think that's kind of what I'm saying. Try and just be happy where it's going.
It's hard to just be happy with the present, isn't it? Because I know where I'm at now, Bailey, my youngest, is going up to full-time preschool. I say full-time, he's not going 5 days a week, but he's going much more than he is now as of April, because that's when the whole hours thing comes in. And for like a year now, I've been like, okay, April is when I can get my shit together. It's when I can get my life together. And now being poorly all the time as well, I'm like, April, I'm going to sort my health out.
What's going to happen in April?
And you're constantly like waiting for that thing, aren't you? But I know when April comes, I'll be like, oh, I missed having him at home with me every day.
I know.
And it's just constantly like back and forth with contradictions in motherhood.
Pushing and pulling. And I think we often just, I think as mums, we constantly just we're waiting in like the wings for the next step to be okay, for us to do something. And it's like that. If we're always like that, then when is it going to stop? Like 18?
Never.
Like 16? like if we should just be, I think we need to enjoy it more as it is, rather than constantly going, when this happens, everything's going to be okay. When this happens, I'll be allowed to do this. And I think that it's a whole confidence thing in yourself, and a contentedness and being content, and just noticing the present day. Like, I think it's quite hard to just be constantly planning and looking ahead and going, right, I'm going to do this next month, or this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. But if you're actually looking at, right, let's have like a beginner's mindset, like, right, today we're going to the park, and I'm just going to put my phone down in my pocket. I'm going to try my best not to look at it for a bit, and I'm just going to enjoy them and just be there with them. And that's enough. And like, it's okay not to have a holiday planned, or have this planned, or have this trip planned. It's okay just to be content with the today, and then pulling your hair, like you said, or pulling your ear, or doing that, and just being great. No, I say grateful, like it's quite cliche, but just being grateful for the little things as well. But
it is like those reels that were going around, wasn't it, where it was like, enjoy every minute, like be grateful for every minute. I agree with that in some sense, but also sometimes it is shit. And you've got to be like, right, today has been tough, and I'm allowed to be thinking, I want them to hurry up and grow up so that they're not having tantrums, you know, doing these things. Like Bailey climbing all over my shoulders all day long. I think it's just having a mix of both, maybe, like accepting that some days are shit and that some days are good, and you need to kind of be present in the moment rather than thinking backwards or forwards. I
think we look back on our previous mumming with like rose tinted glasses a lot. I think we look back and go, oh, look how good it used to be, or also we look back with guilt sometimes, going, oh, I wish I'd been like more present, or I wish I'd lapped that up a little bit more, or I wish I'd sat down with them more. But I think you just need to like give yourself some slack and go, not everything was rose tinted back then. It looks like it now, but actually at the time you were just surviving. You were just trying to get life to happen. You were trying to cook the dinner. You were trying to do this. And it's okay not to be like constantly sat down on the floor with them playing, or constantly gazing into their eyes. Like, if we did that all the time, we'd never get anything done. Like, how would they like have their teeth brushed or have their meals cooked and things like that if we were always just like trying to be present, or trying to gaze at them, or trying to do this? Like, we were surviving, we were living. And I think we just need to remember that it's okay to be in that sense. It's okay.
I always look back at parenting one child, and I'm like, oh, I was such a better mum back then. Oh my
goodness, yes.
Because I was like doing all the little cute activities, and like setting up the tough tray boards and all of that stuff, and I did all that. But then I had a second child, and not only did I add another child into the mix, but I added a child who does not like that stuff. So I have to remind myself regularly that he doesn't like that stuff. And also I've got another child to contend with. It's not like as easy as just having the one child.
Yeah, I think in multiple children or singular children, you're going to have some form of, oh, I could have done that better. I could have done that better. But they are who they are today because of how you parented. And I always try to think that they've come through you having a bit of like parents having a bit of a down day. They need to see you having down days. They need to see you trying and need to see you like working and doing something. Because if they're always seeing you having attention on them, how's that going to help when they grow up? Like they're just going to be like expecting attention the whole time. Yeah. So they need to see a good role model of like life in that sense. And I've got a lot of mum guilt in that sense from so I've got 3.5 to 4 year-ish age gap between my eldest and my middle child. And then I had my middle one. We wanted that age gap. And then we had Orson, and he walked really late. He walked at 17 months and I fell pregnant when he was 11 months with Indiana. And at the time I was excited. We didn't want another one so soon, but I was like, okay, it's happening. That's another story entirely, a different episode, I think, of how that happened.
Whips baby as well. It's fine.
We have a whips, but we were going to have 3 anyway. We always wanted 3. But anyhow, so I had this whole thing where I was pregnant and I felt like I didn't give him a great like 11 months to 17 months or 18 months because he wasn't walking late. And I was like, is that my fault? Because I wasn't down there doing it because I was pregnant and I was sick and I was doing this. And then she gets born and then I'm carrying on this baby and I'm like, your big brother got so much more attention. And we constantly just, for years, I was like psycho, like looking at him going, oh my goodness, are you not developing because of her? Because she's come along and I'm not helping you enough. And it's so hard how much we're hard on ourselves.
I know. We are actually horrible to ourselves. Could you imagine if we treated other mums the way we treat ourselves?
Oh, wow. Like
how vile would
like
that
if somebody called you out and went, do you know why your son's walking late? Or do you know why this? Have you ever thought it's your fault? And it's like, it's not, is it? It's completely to do with them.
You wouldn't speak to anyone the way you speak to yourself.
No.
I don't know why we allow ourselves to do it.
No.
But it's so true though.
One thing I find really fascinating is where the kids, what order the kids are born in. So I often wonder, like, if Orson was born as the eldest, how he would be different from the youngest and what have you. And it always fascinates me, like, if it would actually make a difference. Do you think it would with yours?
Definitely, because my eldest, she loves the attention.
Yeah.
She needs attention 24/7, I kid you not. And I think that's because not only was she the first child, but she was the first grandchild and first great-grandchild. Yeah. So she had all these grown-ups giving her so much attention. And then
I know
a baby came along and the attention is no longer on her, but she still demands that attention. Whereas I think if she was second, she's not only the second child, but there's also more grandchildren now as well. So like my youngest is so chilled. He just takes everything in his stride. Like he would quite happily just sit and play trains for an entire day without anyone playing with him. Yeah. He's just used to doing his thing.
Getting on with it, isn't it? So my daughter's like that. My youngest is like that. Yeah. My middle child is very chilled, but that's because he got pulled everywhere because of my 4-year-old at the time. So he had to go on the school and he didn't get prescribed naps and things like that. So but yeah, I often wonder, like, if they'd gone through the same like parenting process, but you'd swap the kids around. I always think that's quite funny.
I also think you've grown through that as well. So like your parenting might have been totally different. Like I've definitely learned a lot more about being a bit more gentle, a bit more empathetic towards them. And I think that's kind of changed my parenting towards my youngest as well. And he was born during COVID, so that's changed everything.
Definitely. And I think it happens more than once. Like we always think of motherhood as the bit that we're in at the moment, and like, oh yeah, my eldest taught me how to be a mom, and then the next ones came along. But it's the same thing's going to happen when it's happening now. Like my one's, he's 13 now, and it's like, I'm going to be a new parent for a teenager, but by the time I get to my third, I've had 2 teenagers already. So it's like he's got all these firsts, but he gets me to be first all the time. So I wonder, like, if they got a different mum, the other way around, couldn't you?
That's true. That's cool. I don't know about you, with my first, I did everything by the book.
Yeah.
I
did.
all of the naps were when they were supposed to be, everything. But with my second, he just got dragged along.
Yeah.
He napped in the car on the way to like various things that we were doing.
And it's okay, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it just is proof that it's okay to be different for different children, and there's no right way of doing anything. And don't beat yourself up about it. I think don't look back and go, oh, it could have been better. It could have been this. It could have been that. Because I can tell you now, I've got an 8, 9 and 13-year-old, and they're all fine.
Yeah.
It's like the whole breast or bottle thing. It's like, it's the same contradiction. Don't be so hard on yourself about what you've already done. You're just doing your best at the time.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
cool.
You just gotta do you without listening to the noise, and then accept that you're doing your best.
It just happens in business a lot. I think if I was parented like I was running a business, I think there's a lot of similar things happen, don't you? It's like your business baby and your mum baby.
Yeah, that is true. My podcast is like my third baby.
Is it?
Like my third baby.
Goodness me.
But yeah, onto the contradictions again. Another one is being desperate for a break and desperate to have that time away from the children.
Yeah.
But then when you are away, you feel guilty, you feel bad, you miss them, scrolling through photos.
But then also not missing them and then feeling bad for not missing them.
Yeah,
that's another thing. Because I think people are always like, oh, I should be missing them. And you're like, but is it the opposite sometimes?
Yeah.
And is it okay to say that? And I think it is.
See, I don't miss them when I'm away.
Yeah.
I enjoy that time away.
Yeah.
Alec, my husband, really does miss them. And he's like, oh, shall we phone the kids? And I'm like, why?
Depends what I'm doing. I think it depends entirely what I'm doing. Like, I couldn't go on a holiday where there was a pool. I don't go on holidays much anyway, but I couldn't see myself going on a holiday where there's like a pool or lots of forests and parklands, because I'd want to experience that with my kids. And I want that experience. That's what my life is about. It's about having my family with me and experiencing things.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of thing I know that they would love.
Yeah.
But if I was going to some art gallery, or not that I do that very often either, what am I talking about? If I go to some art gallery, or go to like, I don't know, a talk or a podcast thing, or go to a really lovely restaurant with decent food and not like chicken nuggets and stuff, I'd rather be there by myself.
Yeah.
I'd rather be at a spa by myself. I'd rather be here. So it's like it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Like where you are.
Definitely.
But I think missing them is not a bad thing, but then giving your space to go, actually it's okay to have those thoughts about being away from them as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm with the kids the majority of the time because I only work part-time, whereas Alec works full-time. So he is away from them a lot of the time. So he probably does miss them because he doesn't get a lot of time with them. Whereas when I'm with them 24/7, because I was off on Wednesday because Bailey was poorly. I was off last night knowing that I was doing this today. So I've had a week off work, which means I've been with them 24/7.
Yes.
So I'm like, I need a break.
And it's having that thing of like, I think for those that do have partners and ones that have the foresight to go, actually, do you know what? I probably shouldn't arrange to go out tonight because it's the end of half term or the end of the Easter holidays or the end of this. Yeah. And although I enjoy being with my kids, that's why I had them, at the end of a 5-day stretch of them, 12 hours a day, or more. And then you're like, you look forward to like them coming, like your other half coming home. And I couldn't imagine not having that support of someone coming home and going, here you go, I'll give you a hand. But
I don't know how single mums do it.
I hats off to them, like amazing. Like
not being able to tap out.
Finding the support network is so key as any type of parent. But I can imagine single mums, you really do need those friends that can be like, let me help.
Do you know what? Me and my best friend over half terms and some holidays, we tag team.
Yeah, I have done that in the past.
All of our kids go to her house for a day. Yeah. She'll have all 4 children.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's easier with 4. Wild. 4 children is the best, honestly.
And they all just play.
Yeah.
And then I get a day to myself, and then I'll have all 4 children for a day. And I think that's the way to do half terms and stuff.
I have a bit of a confession there with my sister. She's probably going to listen to this afterwards. So my sister's child's like, she's 6 now? 6 now? Yeah, 6. But when she was younger, we used to tag team as well. But I used to say to her, but I can't do any, like when my kids are at home in the holidays, because they're a little bit older, they were school age, I can do some work at home. But if I have your child, she can't self-occupy. So I'm actually doing less work than if I just had my own children.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, I know, so I do actually have to take a day off when I look after your children. So I think it is to do with the ages sometimes, with who you're looking after as children as well, because I know once they hit a certain age, children do self-occupy and they do play with each other, and I love having like one friend over, and because I've got 3 and then one over. 4 is like a magic number in my house. I wouldn't even mind having 5 or 6 kids. Like I'd rather that than one,
as long as they can just go and play in a room. Just leave
but having one child, especially an under 5, to like occupy and like go, actually that is really full on. So those years are brutal when it comes to like being around them constantly, because you just have to like, I don't know, come up with stuff all the time, don't you?
I know, definitely. I think Alec is out tomorrow night, which is the end of like a 2-week stint of having the kids 24/7 for me. And he's out, so he's like, I tell you what, tonight I'm going to do bedtime.
Oh,
you can go to bed. And I was
things.
like, yes.
It's those small things,
just not having to do bedtime.
Just 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it makes you feel like, should I feel bad that I don't want to put my children to bed? Like, I don't want to read them a story. I'm like, but no, when Paul says that, it's like, yes.
I know.
He's like, what? But then I'm terrible. I'm like, what should I be doing? Is it okay that I should be sat here just drinking my tea while he puts them to bed? Or should I be doing something productive, like washing? And I'm like, no. Just sit.
I think we also have that in us a lot as mums, is that we can't just sit.
No.
Like, I sit and I'm like twiddling my thumbs, like, oh my God, like, I should be doing something. Like, and even just doing some like Instagram stuff on my phone while I've
working,
got TV
obviously.
on in the background.
Yep.
Because I'm like, I should be doing something. But actually, no, sometimes you should just sit, just watch TV, just enjoy a hot bath.
Switch off. Wish there was a switch off button. That'd be amazing.
I'd love that.
Like a press pause button. Yeah. Like for the kids, like we want a switch off button. They need a press pause button.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. They need a press and a mute.
I always say to my daughter, like, where's your belly button? And I try and when she's being like particularly, and they're like in your face and you're just like, and like, mummy, I'm being lovely and cute and stuff. But you're actually like, do you know what? I don't need you in my face right now. But you have to flip into like, I can't be mean to my child. Yeah. So I always go, where's that off button? And I like go and tickle their belly buttons, and it kind of diffuses the whole mood I've got of like, get off me, into like,
inside I'm dying. Yeah. Outside I'm trying to make you laugh.
Just if anyone doesn't know, it's the belly button that turns them off.
Work on mine.
Damn.
Their off switch is broken. But yeah, I think that's where it's hard as a mum as well, especially if you're having other people's kids, but you're self-employed.
Because you're not at work, are you? Obviously, but you are at work.
You're at work at home, but you're also having to look after your children and potentially your friends' children if you're tag teaming. And I just think self-employment is really, really hard if you're having to do it around children. Yeah. How do you find it?
I think it's other people understanding that you're self-employed and you still actually have a very, like, not say decent job, but you have a job that brings in a decent wage and a lot of money, and there's still stuff to do. Just because you're at home doesn't mean that you're the default parent or the default carer. But where do you find the hours? I think that's what I am always like, and I try my best to be like, right, I'm going to work these core hours, but I've created a job and a lifestyle where I can work around my kids. I do the school pickups, but I also just decided to bring a dog into the mix, which has taken away another hour of my life. So that's got even smaller. So now I'm working, not now I'm working, but I have to balance it into the evenings as well. And being self-employed, you just have to, there's no balance. The balance is absolute, can I swear, bullshit. It really is. Can I swear? It is. There's anyone that says, oh, let's find the balance, you got to do this. It's bullshit. You just have to figure out an equilibrium. And like at the moment, I'm concentrating on the business for the next few days, and then 2 days later, it's going to take the back burner, and then I'm going to do some more of the kids. It's just like an up and down, I think, rather than a perfect balance. But I work in the evenings. It is what it is. But then my husband doesn't want me in his face when he gets home from work. So it kind of works. And he likes time to play his video games or go out to do for a run or go and do something for himself. And he likes that downtime. Otherwise, I try not to think of like, what would it be like if I didn't have a self-employed job and I had a 9 to 5. But I think I'd be bored. Yeah. I think because you'd get into even more of a, okay, I've got nothing to do this evening. I just have to sit and look at my other half or just look at the telly or that's it. And then I can't go out because the kids are in bed. And so I think I quite like being able to work in the evenings, like got 2 hours work in the evening, or I mean, my husband's going to laugh at this, but 2 hours is very nice to work in the evening. Sometimes I have to work late. I mean, when the kids were little, I worked till like 1 a.m. regularly. I still do every now and again in busy season. I sometimes start work at like 8-9 p.m. and stop at midnight, and then because I know the next day I've got to go to sports day. So it's like, it's that juggle, isn't it? But,
I think you always want what you don't have, and like people working a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 will probably always think, I would love to work from home and be able to do the school runs and stuff like that. But then people who do work from home recognise how difficult it is. And this one definitely touches a nerve with me because being self-employed as well, I saw a reel the other day and it made me so angry.
Oh, what was it?
And it was mums can't have both. They can't have a successful career and be a good mum. And I was like,
that obviously triggered you on purpose. So that's what it was meant for, right?
Yeah, I was like, I would have lobbed my coffee cup at that woman's head, I swear to God, because I think you can have both. Yeah. But you just have to... You have to be good at time management for a start. Yeah. And also you have to kind of make it work around your life. I mean, I think I have a successful career and I do think I'm a good mum. Yeah. So
I think it's up to
shove it up her ass.
Definitely. She's going to go and find it now and be like, no. Was there loads of comments on it as well?
Yeah. Everyone went mental on it. And it was on a TV show in America that it had all kicked off.
The Americans.
But yeah, like honestly, I find it so tricky because you don't have that, okay, I'm going to work now and I'm not going to be home until this time, therefore the children are with you. It's that, like, when Alec gets in from work, I'll say to him, okay, I've got some work to do, so I'm going to go sit at my desk, which is...
Does he ask how long?
No.
Oh, see, mine does. He will go, like, how long do you think? It's not all the time, but he'll go, okay, but he's learned to stop saying how long, because sometimes it does take me 3 hours instead of half an hour. So exactly. It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, but my desk is in my my open plan living space, so I'll be there with my headphones on trying to edit and stuff like that. But then a little child will come up and instead of asking dad who's on the sofa on his phone, they'll poke me and be like, can I have a snack? I'm like, he's there. Like, what is wrong with you? He's right there.
And it's the thing, isn't it?
So hard. And for so long, it's taken a lot of work to get people to recognise my work as actual work. And like my mother-in-law, for example, she is my childcare and she has my kids. But on days when she knows that I'm at home working, she will quite often cancel, knowing that I'm just at home, even though I am still working.
It's hard for other people to understand, especially older generations, I think. And I think often they have to see something physical as an evidence that you're doing well.
Should I just get my cash and just go,
yeah. Here it is. Oh, that's brilliant. I love it. Driving in my car to pick the kids up.
My car that I bought with my money that I made.
Sad though. It is almost sad, but I understand because it's a hard concept to grasp because they would never this sort of opportunity to be self-employed like this was never happening in those days.
And she's like, what do you do to make money? You make stupid videos online? What?
My mum's kind of come around to it now. She understands, but I definitely in those first few years it was very much like, oh, how was your little photo shoot? Or how was that coming along? And it was almost like the level of the voice change when people ask the questions, or how's she doing? Like, oh, and you're like, oh, I'm killing it, thanks.
Oh, she doesn't have a real job.
But I think it's a level, and I think we're more aware of it as mothers wanting to work and say, like, we have to almost feel like we have to prove ourselves. Like we're like, no, I am doing well. Look, this is what I am doing. But it's sad, but I think I've just accepted it. I think that parents just have to understand.
One day they will. But self-employment is just brutal, I think, around kids anyway. And my daughter, she's so funny. She's like, what work are you doing today, mummy?
Oh,
are you going to the hospital work? Are you doing your influencer work? Or are you doing your podcast work? And I'm like, okay, so it's tough. But I love the fact that she now knows that she has a mum that worked really hard. And hopefully she'll grow up to want to be like an independent woman.
Has she had any things at school where she's had to say, my mummy does this?
No, I dread the day when she's
Really?
like, she has to bring in a parent that has a job. I'm like, please do nursing. Don't bring me in as an influencer.
Oh, that'd be so funny.
My mummy's an influencer. I'll be like,
imagine
Jesus.
sitting there and then the person in like one of the teachers or the TAs sitting there going like head cocking slightly going, I swear she was on, I saw her bum on Instagram the other night or something like that.
Luckily, I don't think anyone from the school actually follows me.
No, they must do.
Either they don't follow me or they won't admit.
Yeah,
to
I thought that, but I've had a child that go all the way through primary school now.
Yeah,
and I think there's a few, but they're normally the mums that are my age.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the younger ones follow me that very much. I mean, I haven't got a huge following, but locally I've got a decent following, but obviously nationally it's a bit different. But I still get the odd one coming up going, are you that? And then she clicked and I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, that's cool. And it's a nice recognition, but I often wonder, like, what do my kids actually say about me at school? And why do they know that? And do they say, oh, mummy's a photographer or mummy does that? Or because I often come to school, I mean, I don't know about you. I probably do know about you, actually. Sometimes you'll turn up looking glam because you've just been on a job. And other times you'll turn up looking like you're in pajamas.
I never look glam.
Oh,
ever.
I bet you do sometimes. I bet
Not
you will
on the
today.
school run.
Will you get changed?
Yeah.
No way, will you?
Because I don't have time before the school run to do
why,
hair and makeup.
But why? No, but you've got your hair and makeup
I
done.
went in this outfit.
Yeah.
But I didn't have my hair and makeup done.
But would you do pickup?
Yeah, and then I'll do pick-up.
Yeah,
like
so yeah,
this,
yes,
what
I mean.
Huh?
So you will go in. That's what I mean. You'll go in looking one kind of thing, and whereas I always feel like a lot of mums go in. They're either the gym mums or they're the working mum, like working 9 to 5 office mums, or they're the stay at home mums. And I just feel like I go in so many different capacities. I must be like, what, who, what's she doing now? Like I go in wellies and like mud and like hoodies, and then I'll go in like in a massive flowy dress and a fancy hat, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I think Indy has said, Mummy, what are you doing today? To go back to what your daughter said. Yeah. And but she asks to help now as well. So that's quite interesting. But she because I mean your daughter's done some work on your Instagram as well. Yeah. But she they know to when to help and when not to help with things. And I like them seeing what I'm doing. I like explaining what I'm doing. Yeah. And I say, if mummy's doing this so we can go on holiday, or mummy's got to work. And do you justify yourself to your kids? Yeah. Like, do you say, if I don't do this right now, give me some space?
But the thing is, it's gone too far the other way.
Oh, has it?
Because a lot of our days out, holidays, all of that stuff are through Instagram. Yeah. So then Bella the other day was like, Daddy, why does mummy pay for absolutely everything?
Like, I pay for the house.
I laffed, but I had to then correct her and be like, mummy doesn't pay for everything, but we're very lucky that we just get a lot of stuff through mummy's job. So yeah, but I would love to have let her think that that I pay for absolutely everything.
Oh my goodness, that'd be amazing. No, my kids we're very open with like who pays for what. Yeah. And I think what is interesting now is Zachary, my eldest, he wants to do photography for GCSE. He's put it down as one of his options. Yeah. And I had to literally sit on my hands and be like, I'm not going to let the teachers know at parents' evening, because I'm pretty sure the secondary don't know my Instagram and things like that and my business. But I didn't want to influence the teachers or them choosing him, because you don't, I don't know if you knew this, but with a lot of the local secondary schools, you don't always get the first choice of what they want to do at GCSEs. You get to put down options, and then they, if it fits into the timetable, they get to have one of those options. So I didn't want there to be any influence over, we'll definitely have Zach because his mum's a photographer, and I didn't want him to be judged equally because of that. But I'm proud of it, and I think being self-employed has made him proud of me, and I think we just ultimately want our families to be proud of us, don't we? And definitely. I think that's it at the end of the day.
And at least we're not, like, it makes me laugh. Do you follow Celeste Barber?
Yeah, I've heard of her.
So she gets naked online, and she basically copies like supermodels, like Kim Kardashian. She does what they do. Yeah. And she was putting a video up the other day about her teenagers, like Mom, all my friends have seen you naked online. And I was like, could you imagine?
Oh, man.
That's why I actually cannot do like underwear ads and stuff anymore. Because I'm like, one day these kids will be like having to defend their naked mother.
No, definitely. That's a whole other subject, isn't it? Like having your children online and how much, when do you stop and when do you start? And if your children are comfortable with it, like I categorically wouldn't be asking them to do something if they weren't happy doing it. It has to be fun for them.
He will not. He will not do any videos for me. Yeah. Bella, totally opposite. She'll do anything. She's such a poser, and she wants to be on stage and wants to perform. Bailey is totally the opposite. He's like, get that camera out of my face.
How old is he exactly? 3. 3, yes. So he might come out and then go back into it. I find between the ages of like 7 and 10, that's when they get a little bit more self-aware and they start trying to be something. So obviously I've got 8, 9, 13, and my youngest has just hit that age where she's conscious, but she tries to smile rather than smiling. Whereas my middle child's just coming out of it. But I see that a lot, obviously photographing children for a living, and it's working. I have to work my way around their personalities because they go through these stages of wanting to perform for the camera, and it's trying to capture that like realness in between. So it is
the little cute candid shots.
Oh goodness, it is. That's going back to the beginning of the conversation about how you always want to remember the real smiles and not the pretend smiles, isn't it? And the real stuff about motherhood and having kids and what they really do, rather than actually, I just want to just either forget about it or just hold on to it and be like, oh, I don't care. I just want to block it out because it was a bad time. But actually, you do want those pictures of them doing a silly face.
Yeah, like the disgusting moments, like the punamis. I love them. Like, oh, goodness, I have so many punami photos on my phone.
I have an image of a newborn shoot I did years ago, and the dad was holding a baby naked. And the baby pooed while he was holding the baby. And the mum in me, I'd only had one child at this time, the mum in me, I had a camera in my hand and I went like that. And I literally caught the poo. But you know what the first thing went through my head? Not, you need to catch the poo. It was, oh my God, they've got a clean carpet. I was like, no. But there's so many like stories of like those little things that you remember about your kids. You just kind of trying to just capture them, isn't it? And I know it sounds very cliche, you capture your memories, but just be present in them and just enjoy them. Let it feel those moments. Like if something's happening, don't try and control it all the time. Just be curious about it. Like my kid the other day was, she wanted to go out on a walk into the forest, and she was like, oh, I want to take this outfit and I want to do this, and I want to have a hot chocolate up on top of the hill, and I think we should. And there was a list of all these things that she was gonna do when we went out. And the first thing I thought of was like, oh, I need to control this so it doesn't get out of hand, and oh, I'm tired, and all these things. And then the other part of me went, just go with it. Just let her wear this stupid sparkly boots up into the mud forest. Let her take the umbrella even if it's not raining. Let her do this. And just, I think that's what I've learned as like a third time mum now, is just go with those moments, feel what's happening right now, and just be like, let's just roll with it. Let's roll with it.
Because I think there's a lot of like making kids not kids now as well, like don't do that, don't do this, but actually they're just being kids, they're just being curious, they're just like going on an adventure, but we're trying to stop them. Like, I used to always stop Bella from like getting in mud and getting dirty, and now I'm just like, go roll in that mud, have a great time, enjoy it.
Definitely.
Like, you can tidy it up after.
I don't know how you feel about with what you do and your jobs, but one of the reasons I do what I do as a photographer is I love the thought of parents and kids just letting go, enjoying each other and having fun together. And as a parent myself, I just wanted to capture like all those little moments I just said, and I'm like, that's what I want to remember about this part of my life. And so that's why I do what I do, is because I want to give that to my clients and be like, let's just go out in the middle of the field and be absolute prats and play loads of games. I'll capture it all on my camera, and that's my gift to you. Like that's what I want people to just let go and enjoy themselves and not have so many rules and wipe your hands and do your shoelaces up and don't run, don't scream, don't smile too loudly. But yeah, just be themselves.
I love that.
Thank you.
Well, on that note, could you tell everybody where we can find you on social media?
Oh, of course. So it's Lisa, but my handle's And Then She Clicked. So I have a website and Instagram, obviously. So thanks very much.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, even though we are both riddled with the legs.
Excuse about that.
We've made it through without too much sniffling and coughing.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to go lay my nose now. So.
Go home and have a lie down and have a lemon sip. And thanks so much.
Thanks so much for inviting me. Cheers.
Bye.